Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the RealNext webinar series. Today we'll be talking about prospecting the easy way. Matthew Smith, Head of Business Development here at RealNext, will take us on a tour of the RealNext mobile app and some great features and enhancements and tips on how you can take advantage of that to work in the field to develop business and prospect as efficiently as possible, how you can take advantage of the new RX data and the new uh, best practices and predictive analytics within RealNext to tee up the most likely prospects and follow up timely and make sure that you're getting the data that you need to enhance and build your database to make sure that you're getting ahead of opportunities and setting your triggers so that you're calling people just at the right time to get in front of their next buy, sell, or lease transactional opportunity. So Matt, why don't you take it away and share some of the great ways the audience can take advantage of RealNext Navigator and prospect as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, thanks as always, Jeff, and I appreciate everybody for joining us here. We got quite a few attendees. We're going to make this a quick hit session. I really want to talk about door knocking, prospecting, canvassing, and kind of doing it more efficient. One of the things that drives me bananas is when I hear somebody doing something and it's taking them 15, 20 steps when they can do it in 2 or 3 steps. We really want to show you how to hit that easy button utilizing the RealNext program, and then how that can be applied to your daily life as you're out canvassing, door knocking, or whatever you would like to call that portion. And I want to remind everybody that RealNext is a whole system to help you navigate the transaction through all aspects of commercial, whether that's business brokerage, leasing, sales, tenant rep, doesn't matter, office, industrial. You'll have a portion of RealNext that you're going to utilize, from data management to deal management, deal origination to closing. Today we're going to focus mainly on the RealNext CRM portion. We'll talk a little bit about companies and contacts, properties and spaces. We'll talk a little bit about timelines and lease expiration follow-ups. I probably won't have time to go into the tour book and underwriting, but I think that's something we'll hit in a future session here, and we'll talk a little bit more about being able to look at the health of a building based upon the leases and leases coming due, because there's a lot of maturing leases and a lot of maturing debt. And then we're also going to talk a little bit how to analyze a property properly for a landlord and tenant utilizing our comparative lease analysis program. So let's jump into the RealNext program. You can access it anywhere, anytime, any place. Remember, it is available for your tablets, Android and Apple, and your phones. So if you don't have it on your phone, download it. If you don't have it on your iPad, download it. So a couple things to remind you is program's made for you, not for us. If there's something that you think the program needs, let us know. That doesn't mean it's going to be put in tomorrow, but it's important that we're always staying up to market standards, and hearing from you is the best thing we can do. With that same area, there is a technical support button. If you have any issues, let us know. We don't want to hear that you've had something going on for 2 or 3 days when we can fix it. I was reminded by a client just a few minutes ago, and he said, man, I keep forgetting. I came from a competing product, and it takes them weeks to get back to me, and your support team gets back to me right away. And so just a quick reminder. Also, as always, our videos are recorded and they'll be sent out afterwards. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Jeff will try to answer them, and then also stop me in the middle if necessary. As always, good Gmail integration, good Outlook integration, can synchronize your emails back and forth, can synchronize your contacts as well as companies. And that's going to come into play here in just a quick minute. Now, a lot of times people say, man, Matt, your demo database is snazzy. Like, how do you get it to that point? And how are we going to get to the point where you're at with maybe never using a program before? Or maybe it's your first week or day in the program, or maybe you're coming back after a hiatus. Well, one of the things that we've done recently is we added a section here called RX data. And with RX data, what we can do is we can hit that easy button. We can actually smash that easy button for you. And what we do is we can do many things. One is we can bring over data from our partnered company that will bring the information in based upon a property type that you choose, or all property types, MSA or counties that you choose, and we can bring it right in your program. You can even limit things like number of units or square footage or acreage for land. There's plenty of advanced options, and it's self-serving. You just can go here and say what you want. I want office, and I want multifamily, I want healthcare, agricultural. And then you check your MSAs, and then that information is going to populate your RealNext program. Also, you'll have access to our data migration tools. So if you need to migrate over as you build your team, if you are in a different solution, we've streamlined that migration process. There is a cost for some of that migration, and there is a cost for the data. We'll definitely be able to help you out with that. One by one, we'll want to work with you. Also, our data import wizard has been updated. So this way, when you come in the program and you want to start canvassing and door knocking the easy way, the first thing we can do is help you, and we can help by populating that property information. Now, not only are we going to populate the property information, but we'll also bring in loan information where available, say 10 to 20%, sometimes more, sometimes less. You'll have loan maturing information, so you can start canvassing in those areas that are higher risk. It also brings in your rent roll information, so then you can start seeing that tenant mix that's in there and start updating that information. And I think it's really important that if you know your area, you know the building, you know your market, then you can help your clients maximize their space needs. You can work with them on negotiating the lease properly, whether that's on the tenant or landlord side. And it's really important that you work with the investors to understand what their portfolio looks like, and then really to get to know those properties. And one of the things I'm going to show you here in just 1 second is how to door knock the easy way. Because what we've seen before is either you're not canvassing, or you are canvassing and you're doing it a hard way by utilizing your MacBook, a notepad, OneNote, your Apple Photos, and you're texting yourself back and forth, and it just makes it really convoluted. So one is, if you have the data from RX, it's going to come right into your program, and you'll see information like number of units, or you're going to see transaction date, loan mature, transaction price. And maybe when you're door knocking the easy way, you want to figure out an area that you're going to go and market on. So today, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select San Diego. I'm going to go ahead and put that into my search toolbar. Then I'm going to say, I'm going to go over to office. Now I'm going to go down to all office types. And that's what I'm going to start doing when I'm canvassing or door knocking. Now you can also use our filters to narrow down even more criteria. Maybe you want to go and canvass each property that has a loan maturing in the next 12 months or 18 months. You can use our predefined filters to find that. Or maybe you want to go by asset type and building size, or number of units, number of tenants. Or you can even go block by block or parcel by parcel, utilizing our map functionality with radius and polygon. I was working with a couple industrial teams, and we were showing them how to go out through the city. And as one person was going through and door knocking, the information was populating right on their system. We also took their outdated information or their partial information on a building, and we're able to add that complete building stack. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to do something that is really interesting, and I'm going to use a hybrid solution to show you our mobile app and why I think it's the coolest and neatest way to door knock the easy way. So I'm going to go ahead and can't even talk. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say this is going to go to my system, and maybe I'm not even going to connect to it here. Let's see if we can get connected. Let's go to my RealNext mobile app. Let's make sure we're on the RealNext Wi-Fi, and we're going to get connected here in 1 second. So if you have the mobile app, you can open it up and you can walk through this with me. If you don't have the mobile app, then we recommend you download it. I'm going to come over here, and now I'm connected, and then I'm going to try to show this here in just 1 second. But one of the things that we can do is we can be really prepared to go out and canvas and prospect. And one of the things that I would like to recommend is a program called CamCard. And CamCard is pretty magical in the way that it can do a lot of things for you in adding the information back into your RealNext program when you're out in the field. So I'm going to pull this up here, and hopefully you'll be able to see this. The RealNext mobile app is quite simple. I was working with a team out of Denver and another team out of Salt Lake City last week. And they said, look, Matt, when we go out to a building that we just list for sale, we have to put some information in. I said, great, what is that information like? And they said, well, we have to put some building attributes in there. We have to put in the building, and we have to put in the photos. And I said, currently, how are you doing that? And they said, well, we're going out with our cameras, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And I said, wouldn't it be much easier if we can just do this? Come over here and say properties. And then from your properties, you can find the property in here like 25 Hammond Street. And then from here, you're able to come over here and hit the photo. And then from here, you can take a photo of the building. And then you can add the building right from your mobile device. And now we can go ahead and save that building. And now we can have that back in our program. So if we go ahead and we pull up, let's get rid of office. Let's get rid of San Diego, and I'm going to put in 25 Hammond, and you're going to watch how awesome this is. We'll just put in 25 and see what comes up with our search bar in here. So 25 is going to pull up a little bit more than just one. And it looks like I'm connected to the different database, but you would see 25 Hammond in here, and you would actually see the photo of that. So inside of this industrial building, you can see one of the sections in there, or the outside of the building, or any one of the building information. You'll be able to see that instantaneously right inside of your RealNext program. So if someone is out in the field, they'll be able to see what you're doing. If the property isn't in your system, you can simply come over here and click Add Property by hitting the plus sign. From there, then you go overhead and hit Auto Address, or the right-hand corner. You'll see that little address section. So now what it's doing is it's pulling the address. Now I am on a Zoom, on a GoToMeeting, on a Wi-Fi, and I think I have many things connected here together, so it might be a little bit slower. Okay, now it asked me a question. It says, allow RealNext CRM Cloud to use your location. Allow using app. Yep, perfect. Look at that. Now what I can do is I can simply hit save. I can select the property type of this, and I'm going to say this is going to be office because that's what we are. Now owner. Do I have an owner in this building? Yeah, if there's an owner in the building and I have their contact information, I can tie that owner directly here. So Antonio owns this building, and now I added the owner to it. If I want to add a property name like Governor Park, now I can go ahead and add Governor Park right here. If there's a site contact, maybe there's a property manager on site that I want to go and connect to, or maybe there's a company in here. I can add Asset Realty now as a site contact. I can put them into a group for, maybe it's going to be in here. There's going to be, yeah, I'm in a test database. That's why I see it here. We'll put property management, and we'll put in 3 flag suspects. From here, now I can hit save, and now I have this information right in my system. And the cool thing about that is next time when you're out canvassing, walk the area. Next time you go to a building and you're going to pitch business, go to the surrounding buildings, get a little bit more information. I recently heard of an opportunity in New York City where the brokerage house knew the market so well that they were able to value the property at the correct valuation that no other brokerage firm would even touch, and they were able to dispose of that asset for the top dollar amount relatively quick because they knew that market. So going out there and door knocking, this is the way to do it easily. Once you get through that gatekeeper, right? Or maybe you go over to the gatekeeper, the receptionist, or someone over in the area, and they say, yeah, they don't want to give you too much information, but you can go ahead and add some additional notes. So if we wanted to add a note from here, we can do that, and we can even voice dictate that information. And maybe we want to add some other information in here. We'll hit save. And then maybe from here, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to add a follow-up. Jeff, send Christina jelly beans. She loves them. Maybe we can get through this way. And now I can save that, and that's going to show up in Jeff's calendar. And now Jeff can go send Christina jelly beans from us. The next time we go and see her, she might be happy with that. By the way, we're going to go ahead and take some more pictures of the building so we know that building. So when we do talk to the owner of the building, we can say, look, we were over at your building. We understand your building. We know your building. At the same time, you're filling in the blanks in your database. You're using RX Pro. You're using the data that you have in your solution. You're building your market, and you're knowing your market. So next time you're around, all that information is available to you. And if someone calls you back and says, hey, I heard you're over at Hammond, and I own that building, and Christine got jelly beans, you can be like, yeah, I was over there, and I was actually there on 3/11/2021, and I called you then, and I did this, and I looked at this, and hey, I talked to 3 of your tenants, and both of them said that they're going to be not renewing their leases based upon this, and that, or whatever your pitch would be, but you have all that information in there. It can also help your research team, your marketing team, and really just understanding on how to know the market. You also can add the complete rent roll. So if you're an office broker, you're an industrial broker, you work with multi-tenanted buildings, you can add the complete building stack. We'll put in here floor 1, suite 101, and then the tenant. If there's a tenant, utilize a program like a CAM card, and now add that tenant company in there, and we're just going to put this Bear Realty, and we're going to hit OK, and this is office and it's vacant, or no, it's not vacant, it's other, or maybe it's a sublease, but we're adding our building stack right from here, and I'm doing this while I'm talking to you guys, and if you know me, I am not the smartest one of them all. So you know that if I can do this, then anybody can do this here. And now it's vacant. And now I have my building stack right here. You can then walk over to the directory and take a picture of the directory and add that information in there and then update it later when you're going. It's incredible. And it's amazing that I hear all these different stories on social media about the market, the market, the market. And it's amazing because a lot of the people that are saying this stuff about the market don't know their market. They're watching the news and they're generalizing everything. And then I talk to a market expert that knows their market. They say, hey, Matt, here's what's going on. And here's what's happening. Here's what we're seeing. And here's what's been trading. And it's phenomenal. Like, it's absolutely phenomenal that they can do all this and see all this. And you're like, well, man, how does that team produce that much in sales? And how does that team do so well? And everybody tells me, like, what's their secret? What's their one trick that they do? And I said, you want to know? They do exactly what you're doing, but they're doing it more efficient and they're doing it better. So when they're out talking to somebody and they reach over to, the owner of Hammond and they talk to somebody over here, and I'm going to look at Antonio here, and this is a Real Next demo company. I can update notes that I sent over Christine some jelly beans, and Antonio's the owner of the building, and whatever else I want to. And when I'm talking to Antonio, I can sit next to him and I can put in his investing criteria, and I can talk to the tenants and I can put in their lease information of what they're leasing, or maybe they're looking for additional space and I want to put the additional space in. I can pull all this information up, and then that information is going to be completely usable inside my RealNext program. So if I'm out door knocking, I'm out prospecting, and I put in some of this information for lease expiries, I can pull this information up here on spaces if I'm putting in spaces. If I'm putting in the tenants area, I can pull up that information here for tenant requirements. If I'm talking to someone that maybe was looking to do a lease versus buy, I can show them how to do that as well. And then if I'm working on a property and I'm going through and I'm adding the rent roll in there, and maybe that property, let's go here and get rid of the 25, let's go back to office. Maybe that property, based upon the leases that are coming due, is going to possibly lose a lot of value. Well, now what I can do is simply come over here and I can hit analyze market, and it's going to allow me to create that narrative to why someone should sell their building now before their leases roll over. Because what we saw is office rates that were, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 full service now might be $2 or $3, and we can easily create that narrative to why someone should leave their building now versus leave their building later. And you can use all this information that you're gathering in the field in order to build these narratives. Or you can show an owner of a building how you can represent their available space that might have been available for a couple months because you were out there door knocking 6 months ago, and now you're out again 6 months later. And since you're out there door knocking, you notice that that space is still available. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, I've watched this happen. I've had a brokerage team come over to our building, and I told him to stop using his MacBook and to come over here and utilize RealNext. And a few years later, you can see how quick I'm doing this. Condition, availability. Now I have an available space. They had a sign out front a year ago, and they managed the building here. And it's neat to see because I showed him how to door knock the easy way using our mobile app. He utilized an iPad, I'll never forget it, and take a picture of the directory. And more importantly, he came in, he took pictures of the inside of the space, and then he talked to me and he said, hey, Matt, when does your lease expire? And I told him. And I kid you not, I got a phone call a few months before our lease expires and said, hey, what do you plan on doing? And I said, you know what? We plan on renewing, and Jeff Finn's going to handle all the negotiations for us, but we're good, but I appreciate you reaching out. And it was an awesome, awesome call. We also talked about time to value. With this information here, you not only are starting to know the tenants, you're starting to know the properties, you're not starting to know the spaces inside the properties. And if you're in leasing, that's what you do. You represent people to find space or to lease space. You have it all here so you don't have to remember it. And then all that information that you're collecting that's out there is all usable to create a flyer of available spaces in a couple minutes. When someone says, great, show me the money, you can say, no problem. Here you go. And I have an available space flyer that I can email the client in 15 minutes when your competitor's taking 2 or 3 days. And those are some of the things that we want to show you how you can door knock the easy way. And I hopefully today was something that's going to start to make you realize there are some tools out there. It doesn't need to be artificial and it doesn't need to be intelligent. It just needs to take your current process, and we're going to soup it up by putting things in like business card scanning apps. We're going to connect you with an Outlook or a Gmail synchronization to tie in all your LOIs and your emails back and forth, including the attachment, the body of the email. We're going to help you market and know the area. So when you're marketing it, you're able to know that area and market those properties. You're able to fill in the blanks for the different properties. And we're going to give you that easy button with the RX Pro if you want us to help you out. And it's a very minimal cost. Just contact your local, either Eastern, Central, or Western territory manager, and they'll be able to help you out and give you an estimate. We can populate your data sometimes same day, sometimes within 24 to 48 hours, sometimes even sooner than that, and it populates it there. We also have great email marketing with filtered fields. So if you want to have some fields in there, letting some of these folks know that you're out door knocking in their area, and you put in some of their lease information and want to let them know their lease is coming due, but you didn't have a chance to, give them a call yet, or whatever that case is, you have all that email marketing capability right inside of the RealNext program. And then you'll have your timelines to keep you in check with someone. Hey, I just signed a 5-year lease, no problem. Now, they didn't sign it with me, but maybe I'm going to go and create this timeline that I'm going to call them every year on their anniversary. Hey, Jeff, hey, I just want to say congratulations on your lease. Well, what are you doing calling me, Jeff? You didn't even do the lease. I understand, but most likely your tenant rep isn't going to call you. We're going to give you that love. Probably not say that on your call, but you know what I mean, is you're starting to build that relationship. And if you do that enough, you're going to win the business. You're going to have the business. And you're going to make it look easy. You're going to be the 8-figure broker. You're going to be the billion-dollar team, and people are going to ask you what you're doing. You're going to just tell them you're doing it faster and more efficient using RealNext. Jeff, how are we looking on time and questions?
We are good. There's some questions about do you only have access to the things that you've talked about if you subscribe to RX data? And no, you can use your own data. You can use, and in fact, with the research service, we can bring in and easily help you bring in CoStar data or Reonomy data or other. And with the RX data subscription, we actually give that data import tool to you as part of your service. So you can consolidate all of the different sources of information that you have into RealNext, and we can get that all neatly and efficiently in your system so that you can use it for the prospecting and follow-up work. And we can then show you how you put your information on top of it to augment it and make it even better. So with everyone having a commodity level of information in the market, with RealNext, you're able to take that baseline and make it your own, take all your proprietary information and add to what you have from your third-party sources and make it even better. So you can use, you need, for some of the tools, you need to upgrade to the new RealNext Pro data structure. So there's an ability to have the best practices and the predictive analytics built in, and you can take advantage of third-party data and the RX data with it, and your data that you might have. So there's also questions about ownership and ownership information in the system, and we are able to deliver the ownership entity and give that to you so that you can find the exact contact with their phone numbers and emails. We don't give personal contact name with email and phone number yet. We're working on some techniques to pierce the veil of the LLC to get to that, but there are ways for you to do that. We sort of get you to the finish line, and you just need to make that last leg through some, whether it's the Secretary of State or the business office in your state to get through to who's a registered signatory and decision maker on that
Yeah, we
LLC.
also have web links too to help you with that. So here is Clark County GIS, and some of these are kind of locked by gates now, but some of these can search different parcel maps and so forth directly out of the RealNext program using our web links area. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to work for all buildings or not, but sometimes you can just do a property search like this. Maybe you have a subscription to People Finder or another data solution. If you do want to find and research that ownership, that'll streamline that process for you. If it is exportable, we can import it for you. You can also import it yourself. There's a quick little video. We give you templates. You can also save those templates. I have a client that updates them every day, every week, every month. You can save those as XYZ template, and then once you map the fields in your spreadsheet, you never have to map them again, as long as those fields stay. And look, I'm telling you, if you're out at the land, if you're out at the property, if you know the building, you're great. What separates you from me going to, an MLS and buying a property? It's you understanding the attributes. If I had to do it all again, I would not lease our current space. Why? Because there's no place within 15 miles or 15 minutes to get food. There's also parking. Yeah, but the parking is not so good. It's really hard. You got to go in and out and in and out. It's like 9 times just to get into one spot if there's any cars in the parking lot. And it's also on one of the busiest freeways, so there's a lot of traffic. But you would only know that by going to my building. Otherwise, you would show me the building and say it's amazing, and I promise you, it's not.
So Matt, there are some other questions. Some people are seeing something different on their app than yours, and we've introduced the new RealNext cloud-only version of the software, and we've asked and are encouraging everyone to quickly move to the new version. If you have the legacy of what was the desktop and a hybrid cloud version of the system, then your app is different, and that's not where we're advancing. So all the advances are in the cloud only version. So we are planning to migrate everyone to the new cloud version this quarter. So if you haven't done so already, talk to your account manager and make sure you get moved from the hybrid to the cloud only. And then you'll need to update the app. So you'll need to go to the App Store, get the new cloud only version of the app, and then you'll have what Matt was showing you and be able to take advantage of all the latest enhancements and features of not just the cloud software, but also the mobile application.
Yeah, you can also click support book now, and then it's going to take you right to a booking session. You hit OK, support, and then you're going to scroll down here to REA hybrid migration, select Andrew at a time, skip the login, put your information, he'll call you to get it done. And to find out whether you're on the latest version of RealNext, go here to My Account, go to About. And if it says cloud only, you're on the latest version. Download the latest version of the app called RealNext CRM Cloud. If it says hybrid or hybrid environment, it's time to upgrade. And it's free. It's free to upgrade. Just let's get you on the newest and latest and greatest. There's some really cool things, and we'll talk about a little bit more about. I think Bobby did a magical job last time about database cleanup. We also talked about your charting your course with RealNext and ways to use voice dictation. But there's so many cool things, but nothing drives me more crazy than when I hear about someone driving around their car, taking pictures with their phone and then using Evernote and then coming back in to their system because their system doesn't have a really cool mobile app like RealNext does, and it takes them so much time.
Matt, if you would show, we do have a little bit more time, show the new filter feature, because I think that's, and particularly the having preset filters and views for things like lease expiration or loan maturity. And those are a couple of the great triggers that will come up and you'll want to take advantage of to stay ahead of pending opportunities.
Yeah, like here's a standard prospecting view or sales prospecting view or loan maturity view or tenant rep view. We've created all these different views, and if you see this little funnel, that means there's a filter applied to it. And what that filter is, it'll filter out by state, city, and building size. And to do that is you can just come over to views. And if you don't see them here, submit a support ticket and say, hey, I'd like the new views that Matt and Jeff showed us. If you do see them here, then you can use those and click them, and we'll bring up the view and the filter as you see fit. You can also hit edit and create your own. So if you click these two arrows, it allows you to start over and choose what information you want to see. A client of mine just left the office and he said, man, Matt, I just want to see a couple things. Great, no problem. What do you want to see? Well, I want to see the property address. Okay. And then I want to see the owner company. Great. And then I want to see general details for acreage. And I want to see in here construction type. Great. Perfect. Then you can save that as your own view. If you're on a large team, make it private so nobody else sees it. Or if you're on a small team, put in your view, default view, add to your favorites, and now you have your own view. And if you click one of these arrows up, it'll actually sort by those as well. So it's 1, 2, sort. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are your sort orders. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sort orders, and that will sort the information out for you. It'll also change the view like this. And if you click the arrow on the right-hand side, you get into the best view ever. And this is going to be your split screen view. And it allows you to just knock phone calls out like nobody else's business. Also, you can change ownership by the records here. And you see how quick that ownership changes. It's great.
A question about capital markets, and one of the things that I think most people have structured their database, and they profile investors and profile buyers in their contact or companies, but you can put a database of LPs or mezz debt or preferred equity and profile all of your different capital sources by the type of capital, where they fit in the capital stack. And then as you're looking, you have different opportunities, particularly today with loans that are coming due are going to, you might have had 85 loan or 75 loan to value, and now you're going to be at 60 or so. So you need to bridge that. So to the degree that you have knowledge of investors that are LPs, or they can fill that gap between what the bank is going to lend or the private equity is going to lend, and who's going to come in to fill that bridge. You just put in your by product type and by check size and what position they like to take. You can profile that all in the database so that as you need to fill the stack, you've got that capability.
Yeah, same thing with business brokerage as well. So a lot of business brokers have been coming out of the woodwork lately because we have a listing platform called Marketplace, and there's a lot of business opportunities on there. So you can track all your business requirements, whether that's going to be, I don't remember the exact terminology, but more of like an owner user, property. Is it going to be something that you're going to currently manage that company, or is it going to be something that is going to be non-owner operated? And you can track all those different attributes inside of RealNext, and then you can filter upon those and even save those filters so it pulls it up real quick. So this one here is a simple one. It just says, hey, let's find everybody that has an email. And now there's everybody with an email. So there's just simple filters you can create, but you can create more complex ones so you can grab the information you need when you need it, and then where you need it. And remember, this is all available on your phones too, and your tablets.
Another one of the best practices we've found for prospecting is the verification of the data, and one of those filters could be your last verified, and to look at people that you haven't verified, and so that if you don't have an email, you're going to get that updated. So one of the great features of the system is this verification tracking, and so if the information's you've talked to them and you've made sure that everything is correct. And if you might have an intern coming in, or it might be something that you need to do, that you can take the information and clean it up and get it verified. But always a good way to reach out and use that as a part of your process. But how do you connect phones, and how do you auto dial?
Yeah, so it's pretty easy. Our system is made for click to dialing, and it's a hyperlink. So what does that mean? That means if you click on it, it's going to say call this number from your phone. Now, if you have an Android, it will call your Android and should work perfectly there. You just need to sign into Chrome. If you don't have an Android, you can just go to, let's see here, Chrome plugin. Now I don't use anything but Chrome, so if you're on Microsoft or something, just go to Chrome plugins and then just put in your, let's put in your whatever your phone is going to be, like Polycom, or maybe it's going to be Ring Central. You just do that and you put it in, and then perfect, Ring Central for Google, add to Chrome. You'll put in your credentials and it will click the dial. It's real simple. Your IT will know it. If your IT doesn't know it, it's a Chrome plugin, and if you need help, we'll help you. And I'll get on Google with you, and we'll Google together and see how many brokers it takes to Google a Chrome plugin. But yeah, it's pretty easy. And then don't forget, using the secret Windows H, you can voice dictate your phone calls, which is fantastic, because if you've ever seen my typing, you know that I don't type well, and I have Grammarly plugged in as well as my native voice dictation. And now every phone call, it's like, hey, Bob, what's happening? And even with my accent and my twang and how fast I talk sometimes, it types everything out. Pretty sweet. If you're on a Mac, you got to talk to Jeff. I don't use a Mac. I'm a PC guy all the way.
Works pretty much the same way, just easier and better and faster.
Yes.
Questions on deal rooms. We've been doing a lot of work on optimizing the CRM. There we've got a roadmap. We see the some enhancements, and we've got a vision of how we need to work on and bring some new features into the deal room. But right now, it's been working well for most. Some people are finding the invites are going into the recipient spam account. So it's something, just as a best practice, you might want to alert people that are on your list from your Outlook or your emails. A list of people, we are going to be using RealNext deal rooms to send you opportunities in the future. Please be on the lookout for them, and white label that to make sure it doesn't go into your junk folder. And some systems and some security and some companies have blocked or not enabled that, so you need to talk to them and get that enabled. So that's something I would recommend. So we don't have text yet. We're looking at some additional auto dialer features and SMS features, and that's been a frequent request, and we're looking at getting that put into the system, but it's not something that we currently offer. To be able to text properties and just text that, any type of follow-up, just like an email or other type of prospecting work. Any other questions? I think we've checked them all off in the question box. So Matt, thank you. If there's anything else that comes in, I'll let you know, but it looks like we're wrapped up. Appreciate everyone's time, and thank you, Matt, for covering the subject of prospecting and door knocking the easy way. Hopefully it's been helpful for the group, and if you have questions or ideas for future sessions, let us know. We'd like to give you as quick bits and bites of best practices and tools. These sessions are recorded. All of the history of the sessions are in the RealNext YouTube channel, so if you ever want to go and look and find, just go to the webinar playlist inside of the RealNext YouTube channel, so you can find all the historical. But if you're registered for this, and even obviously you're here if you're attending, but people that have registered and didn't attend, they'll all get a copy of the session in the next couple of days. So thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone, and we'll look forward to sharing more with you next week.
Yeah, let us know how it turns out. Good luck prospecting. See you on the flip side. Bye, everyone.